So today we're talking about patterns in prints. Now you should already know what a pattern is. You've learned about that way before now. But just as a reminder, a pattern is an image or a picture that's repeated over and over again. And a print is just a pattern that's literally been printed out in some way, shape, or form on an object or on fabric. Fabric is where you typically see patterns. A lot of you have masks that have prints on them, or skirts or dresses or shirts, whatever you can think of. Even curtains or carpets have prints on them. So there's a couple ways you can make a print. First, you've got to make your pattern. And typically you make a pattern on a square, just like the one we have on the board. And then you can just stamp it over and over again. Like you can actually make a stamp from the square. Stamp, stamp, stamp. You can stamp it just as is, or you can turn it like the one on the board again. You could also use a screen printing process. That means you put a screen down, or actually you put a template down and then a screen, and you put paint on top and you slam the paint into, or slide the paint into the screen, and it's only going to go where your stencil allows it to go. And then when you pull it up, you've got your pattern. But the way you start cutting it out, or the way you lay down your paint, all depends on how well you repeat it over and over again. Another way is just to actually use a giant printer. They actually have giant printers where the computer copies the pattern over and over again for you, and then you can just literally print it out on the fabric and make whatever you want to make from there. Then you have the way that we are going to do it today, which is kind of like quilting, and you're going to cut and paste your design using Sketch-A-School. So continue watching this video to learn how to make your own print.
So in Seesaw, I have a square template waiting for you to design your pattern on. Go ahead and take a screenshot by holding down the home button and the power button at the same time. Then go to Sketch-A-School. Click the three dots, the box with the arrow pointing in, and photo to bring in your picture. Now when you bring in your picture, make sure you remember to actually keep the example there. That's going to help you know what to do later on in the assignment, so don't get rid of the example. Now for the first part, we need to draw out our design. So I'm going to use the second pen tool on black ink on the smallest size. And now you're going to start at the line that says 2. You may want to zoom in for this part. And you're going to draw any line you want to, as long as it meets the other 2 lines. It can be a straight line, it can be a crazy line, a zigzag line, it really does not matter. Now, I like to turn my iPad to make it easier to draw, but notice if I turn my iPad, my tools get all flipped around, so there's a way to stop that, and that's actually to drag from the top right-hand corner and turn off the lock key. Then continue drawing. The third line should meet up with the third line, the fourth line should meet at the fourth line, and so on and so forth. When you are finished sketching out your design, then go back in and color it. For my design, I like to use a couple of different tools, like the paint roller tool and the square paintbrush. If I go outside of my lines, then I can always use the eraser to go back in and clean it up. Now, it is okay if you accidentally go outside the lines of the square, because we're going to crop that out later. When you are finished, take a screenshot of your design. You'll notice that your screenshot shows up in the bottom left corner. Tap it once and you'll be able to edit your screenshot. Here I'm cropping it, so the only thing that's left is my square design itself, nothing else. And I know it's a perfect square because I'm cropping it. When you're finished, hit done. Then select Save to Photos. Go back into Seesaw and we're going to click on the second page. Now you're going to post the photo of your design using the camera and the upload tool right on top of the square that we have here. Now we need to make 4 copies of this square to make our print. Start by clicking the 3 little dots and then click duplicate. This will give you an exact copy. Then you can match up to the size of one of the smaller squares on the right. Make sure you are very careful with your placement. Then make a copy and move it below. Tap the square and hit the little symbol at the top of it to turn it. You're going to do this until all 4 squares are filled. We are going to make a digital quilt full of everybody's design. So make sure you complete this last part so that you can have a chance to be a part of the quilt. When you are finished, hit that green check mark.